Hey guys, it's Jolene here with the Home Stitchery Decor YouTube channel. Welcome back to the channel. I did a couple of videos on tutorials for this chicken farmhouse kitchen tea towel and the matching dish drying mat. So the tutorials are already up for that. And then I thought, oh my gosh, why don't I do a tutorial for the matching oven mitt? So I have an Accuquilt studio machine. This is an Accuquilt Go die, so you could use this on a smaller machine. I'm an affiliate for all of these products. I will put links in the video description for everything that we use in the video, so you can go ahead and get them from there. They'll also be in the first pinned comment, so you don't have to worry about that. Because I'm an affiliate, I get paid. And that's all the legal stuff you need to know. Go shop the links to help support the channel. Okay, so this is the die. And because I have a studio machine, I have to have the die adapter, which is a white piece of plastic here. And then I've got it in the huge tray. But if you buy the home version of this, you don't have to buy the adapter. So they don't even sell this die in the studio version, so you do have to buy it like this. So what we need for this project, I do it with 4 layers. I do it with a layer of Insulbright. I've got some Wrap and Zap batting. I've got cotton muslin, and then I've got my front facing fabric. So the first thing we need to do is cut because you got 2 sides of the oven mitt, right? 2 swaths of Insulbright at 10 by 16. So we'll just go ahead and do that. This part is really quick and easy. There's one. I say it's quick and easy, but every time I turn on a video, then I stall. It's just nerves. I don't know why. I always still get nerves doing this. But I've just lined it up here on my Fiskars mat. I've got what is this? 24-inch ruler. And I've got my large Fiskars rotary cutter here. So 10 by 16, a couple of those. And then we'll toss this off to the side. And then I choose to use a layer of Wrap and Zap batting for this project. So again, I need a swath of 10 by 16 for this. So I'll just get it lined up as close as possible. For my rotary blades, I use a True Sharp sharpener that you can also purchase. I find if you're just cutting batting and Insulbright, you can quite easily sharpen your blades and make them last a little bit longer. And another pro tip I have is you don't always have to buy quilting blades. You could actually search on Amazon for carpet blades. And then they are quite a bit less money. So now this needs to be about 16 inches. Might cut it just a wee bit longer just for simplicity's sake here. Now we'll put that off to the side. And the next thing I'm going to cut is my cotton muslin lining. So again, 10 by 16. If you've got a little overhang, that's fine because it's going to lay down on the die and get cut to size. So we're going to need 2 of those as well. We'll reserve those for a minute. Now the next thing we're going to need is the actual oven mitt fabric, and here is this cute chicken print again that I keep using. So cute, love it. Wish I had bought more bolts of it. Some of you have been here for a while, but if you are new here, you will know, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to have my own fabric coming out in 2025. And that means you guys will be able to shop my own designs. They will be linked on the website. So if you're seeing this video in the future, just know that some of the fabric will actually be available for purchase. And of course, I'll be doing more tutorials when those fabrics come out. I may even repeat some of my tutorials featuring my own fabric, because why wouldn't you do that, right? Okay, so we're just going to cut off a little bit of this. I'm going to cut off the folded edge first of all. I have a cute little garbage can underneath this table for easy access. And I'm going to actually reserve that fabric. I can use that in another project. Okay, so then we're just going to need some binding. So I'm going to just cut one strip of this coordinated fabric at 2.5 inches for my binding. So it'll look just like this. And now we need to assemble our layers here over onto the die. Okay, what we need to remember for this is that the oven mitt has two sides to it. So for each one of these materials, you have to cut them one way and then flip them over. So because this doesn't have a print on it, I can do 2 layers of Insulbrite, and then I'll be able to flip it one way or the other. So we just roll it through. And out the other side will come our perfectly cut item. So we've got one to go this way and one to go the opposite way. And then when we put them together, of course, it's a mitt. All right, we can do the same for the lining fabric. And this is just a cotton muslin that I got. It's cream colored. So lay that down on the die. And we're going to roll it through the other way. Oh, I've got a little, oh, there it goes. It was a tiny piece stuck. So again, this is what it looks like. And we'll do the same for the Wrap and Zap batting. I have a really good link for Wrap and Zap. So if you use a lot of Wrap and Zap, go ahead and shop my link. You will be shocked at the price of it compared to what you pay in the actual craft stores. So good, so good. And then at some point too, because I have my own fabric line coming, I will be able to make up my own kits for this stuff, and those will be available in 2025. Slow growth, slow and steady wins the race, right? Okay, so now for our chicken fabric, we have to cut one facing up and one facing down in order for this to work. So this is the one facing up. Quite cute. And now we need to do one facing down. For each layer, you're going to start with the inside fabric facing down. So that's the lining fabric. And then I put my Insulbrite down next. And then I put my Wrap and Zap batting down. And then I put my accent fabric here. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like. We can repeat, oh geez, I've just pulled that out of the way. Repeat the process here, or better idea, we could use our Wonder Clips right now to clip all the way around the fabric. So I just want this to stay in place. I don't want any wiggles going on. So just go around the entire edge of this. Make sure that you've caught all the fabric underneath. Once I have everything clipped around, I also add some pins to this process because this is a lot of material to quilt, which is going to be the next step. And I would like this project to turn out as good as possible, so I secure the insides with pins. I've done this in the past where I didn't do the quilting at this stage with everything pinned, and it kind of all went wonky. So just to avoid any problems, I've decided that I'm going to pin and double pin and then do my quilting right from this stage. So I start at the thumb, and I've got this on a Singer heavy duty machine. The tension is set at 5. The width is set at 0, the needle position is in the middle, the length is set at 4. And I find because it's the heavy duty, it goes through this amount of fabric with no problem. And what I do then is I just go side to side and I alternate the directions that I'm going. And I pull out the pins when they're in the way and the clips when they're in the way as well. And then I just kind of eyeball the width of the quilting. So we'll cut that end off. At the thumb, you need to be a little bit careful if you are doing this with the Accuquilt, and I'll tell you why. It's got, just going to pull this through here. It's got a little slit here at the thumb. I'm not sure if you can see this, but this is so you'll be able to turn the binding when you're doing the binding. So just be careful that you don't sew that slit closed. And then I've just got it, you know, approximately 2.25 inches. Maybe that's a little wide compared to my other one. So just kind of eyeball it if you want to, and make sure not to sew this slit. So you'll see this pulls away and folds the other direction. And then just continue this, alternating the directions which you sew so that the fabric isn't pulling one way or the other. So a little pro tip here is, even if you're not going to be able to see this quilting on the end flaps, give this a tiny little stitch. And this will help the fabric in the next step when we're doing the binding and sewing everything together. You'll thank me for that, because this won't fold over or you know, flop over and then you have to tear it apart to fix it. So try to do it like that. For the next step, we're just going to put them face to face and clip them all the way around the outside. So make sure that the fabrics are lined up once again and put your clip. You'll need to leave the top edge open, number 1, because you'll have to stick your hand in this afterwards. And number 2, you have to turn this inside out. So let's sew this all the way around. This part is easy. You just need to make sure that you're going wide enough because some of these layers will pull one way or the other during the quilting process. You can always flip it over to the other side to make sure that you've caught all the edges afterwards, and if you haven't, of course fix that. But I go quite wide on this, typically the whole width of the presser foot plus a wee little bit more, and you'll need to you know, just make sure that this sticks on the end. There is now 2 layers of Insulbright, 2 layers of Wrap and Zap, 2 layers of quilt cotton material, and 2 layers of muslin. So this part of the process is, you know, not every single machine is going to be able to do this. And I do buy a heavy duty Singer machine for this process and my rugs, just because it will go through all these layers guaranteed, and the machine is not that expensive. So that's the one I typically use for this project. And of course I've got my Wonder Clip jar. You can hear me dumping the clips into it. So we're just going to sew all the way around. Nice and slow. Make sure we're trying to catch everything here as we go. And in the words of Ross Geller, pivot, 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 pivot. That show kills me. Okay. The thumb here can be a little bit tricky. So I go past where the slit is in the thumb, just a couple of stitches, and then I back stitch, and then I turn. Because I want to make sure that slit stays open. And then once I've turned, of course, I do a couple stitches and I back stitch again. If you go slow, this process is not that bad. You can see here how this cotton muslin is pulled up a little bit, so we just need to make sure that we catch that. Otherwise the lining won't be stitched all the way through on the inside. And now just go straight to the end. Once you've reached the edge, make sure you flip this over and check all of your edges to make sure that you've caught all of the fabric. And then we can turn this inside out. Also pretty easy to do. I love to use a chopstick for this kind of stuff. And I just reach my hand in, I pull the bulkiest fabric out first, and we're going to turn. I say that, and then of course it's not as easy as I said. Here we go. Quite just like a sock. Sometimes you get a thick wool sock, not as cooperative. And you'll see the thumb here is pretty nice where they've got the little give there with the slit that they have in this die. And now we're going to do the binding. So I'll meet you at the ironing board because we need to iron the binding first. All right, binding is pretty easy. You've got the 2.5 inch strip that we cut before. You're going to cut off the selvage edge. And then what we're going to do, we could actually do both edges of this because I'll make another oven mitt here in a minute. So cut that off. And now we're going to fold this in half, and we're just going to press it the length of the strip. You could get a binding tool if you found that helpful. So press it the whole length of the strip. And I won't show you that because that's pretty easy. But what I will show you is on your first end, open up your first end and fold it down on the diagonal and then give it a press. Once we've ironed our binding strip the whole length of that 2.5-inch strip, which was width of fabric, we're going to cut off 4 inches, and it was already ironed in half. Now what we need to do is fold it in half again, and then fold it in half again. And we're going to use this piece of fabric for a little hook so we can hang up our oven mitt here in a minute. For this next step, I've turned my length to 3. I still have my width at 0. I'm on a straight stitch. The needle position is in the middle. The tension is 5. And I'm just going to sew a little, just right on the edge of this so I can make a little hook for my oven mitt. And I know what you guys are thinking probably, what the heck does she have with all of these little X's and stuff all over her sewing machines? Well, I do have staff that work for me, and when I give them projects, they typically get one project to work on. They do the same project all the time, so I set the machine up for them, and then I put X's on the things that they should not touch, and that's easier for them to remember. And some of my staff is from Ukraine, so the language barrier is a little bit hard for them, so we use Google Translate and then diagrams and videos and stuff like that. Okay, so we have our little hook here, and now we've got our oven mitt, and we've got our binding strip, and we need to go to the edge where we had the piece folded down. So I always like to start in the middle with this process because otherwise it can get a little annoying. When you're trying to go around the corner. If you've got the binding starting in the middle of the corner and it ending in the middle of the corner, it just gets super frustrating. And this part is going to be the most frustrating part of your day anyway, so eliminate what you can here. Okay, so try to line this up so the edges are even, and we're just going to put it on the inside of the oven mitt close to the edge. We're going to start sewing. So lift your presser foot up because there's even more fabric now. We're now adding another 2 layers of cotton, quilt cotton, to what's going through the sewing machine. So just line it up along the edge, and this part you're going to have to go super slow. Make sure you do some back stitching here. And as we go around the corners, you're just going to pull the binding strip down so it matches the edging of the fabric. And there's a lot of fabric going on here, so just be careful what you're doing. But I promise if you go slow, this really isn't that bad. All right, when we've come to the end of this here, we've now met the place where we started the binding, and we actually want to sew to about 2 inches past there with this layer. You can clip this off afterwards, but this will save you some time. All right, we'll just pull this up, get a pair of scissors. Cut the ends off. And now you will see how this is going to start ending up here in a second. Okay, so what I need to do right now is cut this end off. And now we need to fold all this fabric over. Okay, so I'm even taking it up a notch. I went and got my tiny little sleeve ironing board, and this is going to be a game changer. So put your fabric in. We're over at the corners now. Line it up like this and hit it with the iron. So I'll put a link in the video description for this board too. It is super handy. So just go ahead and do that all the way around. There you have it. This is what it looks like when it's been pressed down properly. I will say that was a dumb idea for me to try to do it without pressing it. This is way easier, especially with this little guy. Okay, another trick here is this Singer Heavy Duty. The little end will come off. And I don't know why I try to do stuff without doing it properly. I think, you know, you just sew so much and you're like, I'm just going to go, go, go. And it doesn't work out. So this is the easiest way to do it. Get that tiny little ironing board. Iron your edging so it goes all the way around flat. Then take the end off of your sewing machine. Most of the sewing machines now have that feature, and you'll be able to quickly go around this project. As you can see, I am going around much easier than I was before. All right, these are real life sewing lessons, people. And as usual, all of my products are available on my website. I sell on Shopify, and you can too. I'm a Shopify affiliate. I'll put a link in the video description for you guys. All of the products plus the Shopify link will also be in the pinned comment, which is the first comment, so you don't even have to go looking for things. If you shop the links, you help my business grow and I can hire more people. And I appreciate you guys being here so much. And I want to show you, as soon as I'm done here, all of these products together. I think they're going to be fabulous. And make sure to watch the other tutorials as well, because this chicken fabric never ends. Have a great time. Oh, wait, 1 second. I want to show you them all three together. 1 second, guys. Okay, so we've got the tea towel, which was the first tutorial. Super fun. Then we had the chicken dish drying mat. So this is a dish drying mat for beside your kitchen sink. And now we've got the oven mitt. What will I make next with the fabulous chicken fabric? Stay tuned to the channel to find out.